Hi everybody!
So we've recently had all of the characters for Tekken 8 revealed. We know that Season 1 is on the way because of it already being announced, and Season Passes are just the way of fighting games in this day and age. For this video, I'm going to try and predict who I think will be included in Season 1. Now I'm going to mostly aim for who I think are safe picks. Season 1 isn't where you'll typically see too many oddball characters, since developers tend to want to bring in as wide an audience as they can with the first season of content. With Season 2, however, you can get a little bit crazy with things. Take for example how SNK handled Season 2 for the King of Fighters 15. That game mostly played it safe with Season 1 by giving us incredibly popular characters like Rock Howard, B. Jenny, and Gato. Season 2, on the other hand, they did get a little bit more out there. You still had longtime fan favorites like Kim and Shingo, but then you had three arguably oddball picks in Sylvie, Dulon, and Hinako. I've recently released a review for the King of Fighters 15 Season 2. A card for that will be popping up for those who are interested. Anyways, let's get into the predictions. So Julia Chang has basically been a Tekken mainstay since her first appearance in Tekken 3 from '97. She replaced her adoptive mother Michelle, who had appeared in the first two games. Julia's martial art style is popping up on screen now, as I have no idea how to pronounce it, and I don't want to offend anyone with my butchery of it. Anyways, Julia is an incredibly safe choice given the length of time she has been a mainstay on the roster, but that isn't the only reason I feel like Julia is going to be added as Season 1 content. Part of why I think she'll be part of Season 1 is because she feels like a pick-up-and-play character in Tekken 7. I'm not sure if this holds true of her earlier iterations, as Tekken 7 is the only game in the series I've played to date, but given Tekken 8 is changing things up massively to be more appealing to more casual fighting game players, and to make the matches more entertaining for the esports crowd, it wouldn't surprise me if Season 1 is filled up with characters who are more pick-up-and-play. Not only would more accessible characters be a good decision for the health of the roster, but it'd also mean the barrier of entry would be far lower. Given Julia is relatively easy to learn but hard to master, this makes her an ideal choice for DLC, as the beginner players who like the game might be tempted by word of mouth over an easy to play character, but the more intermediate ones can start getting the best out of her almost right away. Also, given Julia is a legacy character, this means people who just love Julia will buy the DLC, which means more sales and thus more revenue for Bandai. Ultimately, I feel like Julia is the safest choice for making Tekken 8 at some point. It should be noted she was Season 2 DLC for the last game, so lightning could strike twice. Yes, that was indeed a pun regarding the Mishimas, because lightning is their thing. Yes, I know my jokes are lame. It just wouldn't be Tekken without the Williams sisters. Anna has appeared in almost every Tekken game, the exception being Tekken 4. Her sister Nina is base roster, so I'd say it's a pretty safe indication Anna will make an appearance at some point. Whether that's in the first or second season is up for debate though. I'll be honest, I'm just including Anna for her popularity. I don't really have a lot of experience with her, and you can probably tell from the trash gameplay you're seeing on screen, she's just not a character who I'm very familiar with, though I do love the femme fatale archetype in media, so from an aesthetic point of view, I do like Anna. I also tend to prefer brunettes to blondes. I actually think Anna could be a really fun character with the heat system. Maybe not for me, but I do find her martial arts style super cool, because the third Doctor also used Aikido. One thing I did notice is Anna seems to be a fairly aggressive character, which would really suit Tekken 8 given its more aggressive playstyle, and that suits me. That's part of why I love Killer Instinct so much. It rewards aggression. If Anna does make it into Tekken 8, she is going to become a rotational piece for me, especially if she maintains the fun to use mix-ups. But like I said, for whatever reason, I just have never been into Anna until trying her out for this video, so things have definitely changed for me there. We're going to cover one of my two personal choices for the third character, that being Lucky Chloe. She made her debut in Tekken 7, and she has admittedly been a divisive character for various reasons. Ones I don't want to particularly discuss in this video, but I'll defend my choice here. Since this is my list after all, for the longest time I was unwilling to touch Lucky Chloe because of all the backlash against her in the Tekken fandom. However, one day on one of my Twitch streams, I picked her up randomly just because I was kind of bored of my usual characters, and I was still trying to find my main in Tekken 7. Given this was my first exposure to the series, it took a while to find characters I liked. Chloe just happened to be one of the first characters I started having a lot of fun with. Her having a lot of mid and low mix-up potential really worked for me given I love mix-up characters. She also happened to have a good deal of speed, something I always look for in my fighting game mains. Basically, she's a character that's ideal for me, so of course I want to see her in Tekken 8. Also, if I'm being honest, Chloe is the type of character I feel the Heat system was designed around, mobile characters who favor aggressive play over defense. So I actually feel she's an ideal pick for this game, mostly because of that. I'm admittedly unsure if she will make the roster. With both Julia and Anna, it was easy to make a case for their inclusion in Season 1 content. Whereas I said before, Lucky Chloe is a somewhat unpopular character among Tekken's core fanbase, but newer fans do seem to like her, so there's potential that she does make it, though it wouldn't surprise me if she's Season 2 or later. In this instance, she's a wishlist character for me. But as a whole, I feel like Bandai Namco can do a lot with Chloe mechanically speaking. Also, I really can't wait to see her Unreal Engine 5 glow-up. Tekken 7 is, after all, a rather old game at this point, and isn't exactly the best looking title on the market. But do you agree with me? Do you feel like Chloe suits the Heat system? Let me know in the comments section. So Miguel is another of the characters I don't have much experience with, but I can see why people like him. He's decently speedy, and he has good damage output, though I will admit he isn't for me. I find his combo strings a little bit too strict in terms of timing. That isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, it just means he's not a character I'm particularly drawn to. Though he definitely has a lot of style. He made his debut in Tekken 6 and has become one of the more popular characters since. He doesn't have a defined martial arts style, meaning he's more about raw strength. Given his popularity, I'm surprised he didn't make it onto the list of 32 fighters for the base roster. But you do have to hold some characters back. I'd say Miggy is basically a lock to make it in Season 1. Not much more I can say on the matter, to be honest. So Bob is an oddity for me. Yeah, he does use freestyle karate, and I tend to enjoy karate users in fighting games. Hitomi from Dead or Alive was the first fighter I ever grasped. Anyways, Bob is a bit different as he is quite a throw-heavy character, which makes sense given his size, only despite being a bit of a grappler and striker hybrid, he's actually got really good speed despite his size. Bob is known to be a pretty popular character as well. Also, I can't remember which video it was, but either Outside Xbox or Outside Extra mentioned Bob in one of their lists, and how he's a positive representation of fat people in gaming, something that is typically not done as there's a lot of fat shaming from game developers. Either way, I'm surprised Bob didn't make the base roster, but I could definitely see him added to the game in the future, even if it's not seen in Season 1. I do get the feeling we'll see Bob in Tekken 8 at some point. Also, if I'm being honest, I'd be really interested in seeing the belly physics they'd be capable of pulling off. I also feel like Bob offers some unique aspects we don't presently have in Tekken 8, that being a relatively beginner-friendly grappler, but another grappler plus striker hybrid. Right now, the only hybrid of the two I can think of is Asuka, who's become much more of a striker in the latest iteration. Lidia Sobieska made her debut in Season 4 of Tekken 7, making her the final character released for that game. Lidia is actually my main character in this title, mostly because there's a sense of familiarity with her, mostly because her inputs are almost always the reverse of Hitomi from Dead or Alive. Lidia is also fairly speedy, and for me is very fun to play. Also, of all of the characters on the roster, Lidia, Elisa, and Asuka are the characters I like the most from a looks perspective. Basically, if you're looking for a beginner-friendly character, I would say Lidia should be close to your starting point. Of all the characters omitted from Tekken 8's base roster, I'm actually most saddened by the exclusion of Lidia, but I can understand why. She was a very late addition to the game, and she hasn't had as much time to establish herself popularity-wise. She did release in early 2021 after all. Sure, 2 years is a long time in terms of gaming, but when it comes to fighting game characters, that is hardly any time at all. I do think we'll see Lidia at some point, I'm just not sure if we'll see her in Season 1 or not. So I imagine some of you are wondering why I didn't include any guest characters for the first season of DLC content. Tekken has over the years had various guest characters, as have other fighting games. It's because I just don't think guest characters work all that well for a first season of DLC, unless of course that game is akin to BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, a title that built itself off of guest characters and their crazy interactions. Now, it is working for Mortal Kombat 1, but here's the thing, MK in recent years has always made the guest characters from other media franchises a big deal. It works for Mortal Kombat because of how over the top and crazy the game can get with its violence, especially since the characters who appear as guest stars are typically from other violent franchises. Tekken doesn't exactly have that luxury, though Tekken does benefit from quite possibly being the most over the top, non-anime fighting game on the market. So it can, of course, incorporate guest characters from over-the-top franchises more easily. If you want to see me tackle a guest character list for Tekken 8 in the future, let me know. If we hit 800 subscribers by December 1st, I'll prioritize that video. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. We're currently on the road to 1K, and every little helps. So there's my list of Tekken characters I think are possible for Season 1 DLC. But what did you think of the list? Let me know in the comments and hit the subscribe button. Also, I have to thank my channel member, R. Campbell. If you want to help the channel out and have your name featured in the end credits, consider pressing the join button or clicking the link in the description. If I manage to hit 26 channel members, I'll be reviewing the Hori Fighting Commander Octa, a controller I've wanted to check out for a while. If you do become a channel member, you'll get shouted out at the end of every video and gain access to other exclusive perks such as access to behind the scenes footage that didn't make it to the main videos. You'll also get access to exclusive videos, an exclusive section of my Discord server, and a few other things. But you don't have to become a channel member if you don't want to. Anyways, if you liked the video, hit the like button, and check out 2 of my previous Tekken videos. Until next time, keep blazing that trail.